What's up, fam? Look, I want to tackle this issue, right? We need to tackle this issue because it's so much going on right now with these mass killings. One in El Paso, Texas, great state, one in Ohio, and I'm listening to. Matter of fact, wait, y'all, hold on, let me go grab my notes for a minute. Hold on, man. Let me grab these notes, man. Because I want to make sure I'm writing exact. You know what I mean? So check this out, right? Tim Scott, and the reason why we're doing this is because the narrative that's being shaped is a narrative of one is for protection, for forgiveness, and to wipe under the rug the horrific acts that are being taken out or lives being taken by white supremacists in America, but they're trying to do damage control right now because they don't want to come out and say, okay, well, look, we need to profile all young white males from the age of 16 to 24. They don't want to do that. So they're trying to blame it on mental illness and everything else you can speak of, right? So we're going to start. This is Tim Scott. Tim Scott is a Republican senator in Carolina, right? He spoke upon what happened in his state when Dylan Roof came in and killed 9 people. He did mention white nationalist or racism, but he kind of leaned towards a system of a mental illness, and he also was stating that white people, or he didn't use color. He said people need to turn in people who look like them and call the authorities if they suspect them of doing something suspicious. You all keep that in mind. People of the same race need to turn in people of the same race if you see them acting out or doing something that deemed suspicious. Turn them in. That was Tim Scott. Come on. Now look, brother, here goes Elijah Cummings. Elijah Cummings stated that he visited Italy, he visited West Africa, and the peace and what he's saying is it's all about what all black people say when they go outside of America. I don't care what country you go to, Germany, Canada, Africa, wherever you go, Italy, the response that the people of that country that's in that town, the way they treat you, is not. You could tell the difference. I done traveled over the globe, and it is a difference because you going in and you see white people and you think, okay, here comes the racism, and someone comes with a smile and sit down like no problem, like they don't even see race. Hey, let's deal. You like, damn, you know. I'm starting to think like Malcolm. You know what I mean? If I can get white people in America to accept that ideology, hell, we all could get along. But I understand, though, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated, white people built this system on Christianity. So they built their society on Christianity and racism. So they're not going towards anything that differ towards that. Let's put it like that. So he said that this is Elijah Cummings, state rep. He said that the climate in America has changed. Basically what he's saying is since Donald Trump became in office, the climate of America had changed. Come on, bro, listen. You fought for civil rights, you marched with King. It's the same climate. That climate been in existence since the Black Codes. That climate has been in existence since Jim Crow, since slavery time. It's that what you mean? It's no new climate. This is the climate. Why you think police killings just started with Eric Gardner? You think police killings just started with Trayvon? Come on, think about it. Sandra Bland? Come on. The climate has always been a climate. Why you think you had a Martin or a Malcolm? Now, if you truly want to solve this, and you say, okay, well, there's a mental crisis, mental issue crisis. If there's a mental issue crisis, then you would have to create a definition, textbook term for white supremacy or white nationalists. If you have that ideology, then you are deemed mentally incompetent or mentally insane. What you're saying is white nationalists, white supremacists fuse the fire of hate. If you're saying that, then clinically describe that in a text with a definition that's attached to white supremacy and white nationalism. Now, you want to get to Mary. Mary O'Toole. Mary O'Toole is a FBI analyst who occasionally, if something tragic happens within the United States, they'll bring her on because she specializes in profiling. But her statement was, there is no way that you can profile this large, vast group of potential murderers. I was like, wait a minute, bro. Wait a minute. You saying that because what they did not want to say is racial profiling. They alluded to mental illness, or they alluded to all males around that age from say 16 to 24. Although she stated, and this was on a CBSN show that they had Mary O'Toole on, former FBI agent. Although she stated that there are examples, there are different scenarios that could play out. Meaning, you do have some examples to the rule. You do have some people like saying, okay, all serial killers, majority are white, but if you get 3 black, then you say, okay, these are the exceptions. These are the exceptions to the rule. But overall based, if you were to come up with a profile, this is the basis, and we're starting with this. They did not want to say racial profiling because the same tactics that they use on black males really should have been applied to white males prior to the 30s. Since America was established. Goddamn. Hell, it should have been applied to white males. I know it is definitely 40s, 50s, 60s, and the 70s. Look, this is what racial profiling is. Say me and a group of friends, we hanging out, right? We're talking about stocks. White cop passed by, see 2 or more black men huddled together, pulls over, what's going on here? Like, we discussing business. What kind of business? Drug business? Nah, man, we just discussing business. We talking amongst ourselves. Is that a crime? Is that illegal in America for black men to gather? Okay, well, I tell you what, let me frisk you. Let me search you. What's going on? Where the drugs at? All right? See, that needs to be applied to white males 16 to 24. You roll up on 2 white men standing together, pull up on them. Hey, let me search you. What y'all talking about? Y'all conspiring to kill blacks, Asians, Jews, Hispanics, Native Americans? Where your guns at? Let me see your manifesto. Who you been listening to? Because that's the narrative. Now, if you want to say that the guy in El Paso who killed the 20 was mentally ill, and the guy in Ohio who murdered the 9, both of them had racist ties as far as Nazis, and they also to the Christ Church killing in New Zealand, which they had no business. White folks had no business in New Zealand. If the only way they got into New Zealand, and they sold so many of New Zealand's scars in their culture, was to rape and pillage New Zealand, and one of New Zealand's indigenous people was a sellout to allow them in so he can get him some guns so he can go and conquer other members of his tribe. So he's a sellout. But Christ Church, New Zealand incident, they alluded to that. Uh, they see Dylan Root. They see the young man in California at the festival who cut a hole through the gate to get in. That's guerrilla warfare to kill minorities. And the only one who got it right was Pete Pete, the one that's running for the president of the United States. He did hit the nail on the head when he said, look, our country is under attack by white nationalists. But of course they would let Pete Buttigieg say that because he's gay. They're not going to rally behind him. Meaning he's not going to get strong enough support to act out on what he pointed out, which was so clear and it's factual. But he said it. He said it. Why Tim Scott is not echoing what he said when we know that's what the issue is about? Why Elijah Cummings is not echoing what Pete Buttigieg said when you know that's the issue? Why when you get these talking heads, oh man, and these religious leaders, these preachers who go on television and won't address the issue, they skate around the issue because they're too cowardly to say, look, young white males that are white nationalists is committing war upon all people that are deemed minority. Because black people are not minorities on the planet. It's more black people if you go from Africa, Dominican, Puerto Rico, Veracruz, up in New Mexico, the Americas, Jamaica, Caribbeans. Come on. We run the planet. We just been divided and conquered. And on that note, on the division, to my so-called Spanish brothers, Latin brothers, look, you were natives who were conquered by European Spaniards. So when you try to stick your chest out and imitate or say, well, I'm white, Hispanic, they don't see you as white. And when you try to be prejudiced towards black people, it shows the sickness of your mind. Get your mind straight. Get your mind, all my Latino, and then I'm Latin. You ain't been to Italy a day in your life, but okay, whatever. You are an indigenous native to the Americas, Central, South, and North. You were conquered by white European Spaniards. That's why you speak Spanish, and that's where we at today. So deal with it. Why you think the white boy went after Hispanics, Mexicans, immigrants? He called you all. He wants you all back. Think about it. Just think about it. You under attack too. Even though you got some of these ignorant ones who don't want to be identified with anything that's indigenous to their culture because they're ashamed of who they are. But we got some too in our race, even though we are relatives. But okay, we got some in our race who are ashamed to be black too. So okay, that's how the game is played. But back to the issue at hand. As Pete Buttigieg said, our country is under attack. Go and look up the definition of attack and under attack. By who? White nationalists. Why? Why white nationalists are attacking minorities? Now, is their ideology sick-minded? Because what they plan to accomplish can never be. So you are sick in the sense of you're putting effort and energy into something that can never be because your ideology was based on something that was non-factual. That's why anybody, whether you white, black, you put the Nation of Islam program before the world. You put the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad before the world. That's the only teaching that will save this planet. Worldwide. Or else you will be acting out of ignorance, which will make you insane and deem your message a message of madness. And that's what's going on. You want to go out and kill minorities, but you don't have a true basis for the message. You don't understand. You do not have the dominant gene to create black, brown, red, or yellow. So stay in your lane. You upset over something that you didn't create and that you can't control. That's it. You didn't create black people. You can't control black people. Matter of fact, you didn't even create yourself. You came from us, but yet you hate us, or you hate the people that brought you to existence so you can walk in the sunlight, but yet you turn around and I hate you, I want to take you out. You can't kill God. So really, you're sick. But the mercy and the time is we'll just sit back and see how long does it take for reasoning to kick in or for knowledge to kick in for you to take in true knowledge and understanding of who you are and of who we are and the limitations of the capacity of not say your rule, but the limitations and the capacity of the realm of which you have to operate in. And your mindset, you think America is yours. We're gonna take our country back. We're gonna make America great again. We all these little sayings. You cannot deny us, and all these little chants. It's like, look, there were people here before you got here. You know, you think that just because you conquer the native people on the planet Earth in North America, you think just because you conquered them that they gave you all their secrets and all and everything about it, they just handed over to you. You constantly discovering things that you didn't know. 10 years later, 100 years later, 200 years later, some things you just not finding out that these people have been knowing before you got here. And then you have nerve to tell them, go back where you came from. You go back where you come from. You know, anybody can say that. You know, but when we get down to hardcore truth, mathematics, and science, then it eliminates all the emotions and feelings and the what ifs and what we should be doing, and because it's like tennis. You hear one politician who will set the other politicians. No, not tennis. It's like basketball. It's like alley-oop. You'll see one politician throw the opposing team. No, tennis. We'll go back to tennis because they're on the same team. It's like tennis. You'll see one politician serve another politician with words. Then he serves it back. And then they play the game. You know, when he says, well, we should, once you say should, you leave it up to all kind of interpretations, but you do that on purposely, as though the people of America is so fooled. We just dumbfounded. We're not looking at you saying, damn, watch this. We calling it play-by-play. It's too slow for us. We calling this play-by-play. Watch, she's gonna say that. She's gonna say, well, you know, and we should have the Justice Department on our side. Then he'll say, now, okay, yeah, we should. Okay, well, yeah, but due to the funding, we don't have the resources, and we would like to, and, you know, and it's just back and forth. So what they saying is, we don't have the money, and we don't have justice. Just boil down and say that. If you don't have money, you don't have justice in a capitalistic society. Just say that. People will take that over better. Instead of an hour-long talk about nothing, and at the end of the day, it's saying if you don't have money, you don't have justice. Now that doesn't apply to black people. A lot of black people got money but don't get justice. Hey, a lot of black people had money. Hey, we had a black female astronaut who was pulled out of a car, put on the ground until they found out who she was. But it's the study of the white male's mind and why is he racist? Because you got a lot of piss poor white folks in trailer home, man, who don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out, but yet they're racist. Why? Well, it's not gonna put any money in their bank by being racist. So yeah, you have to get into the study of the white from the mindset of the white male and racism. Dig into that and see what is what, because if not, there'll be more. The, and before I go, now Tim Scott stated that by white people turning in people in their own race and black people turning in people in their own race, we we can unify and heal together as a whole. If you don't wipe out the mindset of racism, when you out of office, it'll happen again, and they'll bring you back 10 years later or whatever. When you have your beer and grape, yeah, well, you know what happened with Dylan Roof, and you know what, this is what we did, but you didn't stamp it out. That's why you up here talking about it again. You didn't take the necessary actions to stamp it out, to stomp it out. All you did was give some rhetoric to the situation and the issue, but you didn't put hardcore solutions to the problem so we can go in and stop dealing with it. You didn't cut the head off the snake. No, all you did was kind of kick the snake a little bit and kept walking. Like you actually did some damage. That's the point I'm trying to make. All of you, black, white, even you in El Paso, and when you have the news coverage of what took place in El Paso, the majority of the people on stage is white and all Hispanic town. What the hell is going on? Or is this is just America? And then if you look at the white politician, they damage control. Look here, man. We do not want the world to start profiling young white men, because a lot of these young white men are part of my family. We don't want that to take place. So we have to find something to distract the public's attention. Let's put it on gun control. Let's put it on mental health. Let's whatever. But whatever you do, don't put it on white racism. Because it'll justify black liberation. It'll justify black national, what they call black national theory or whatnot, or it'll justify so and so. No. White racism was the soil that the seed of black liberation was planted in, because the white nationalist racists gave movement to the black liberation theology, because we had to find a way to survive.